Hey, pull up a chair. I want to have a serious talk. We're a new podcast, and we're trying out video for the first time. This one's working, but we fucked up some of the latter ones. I'm going to blame producer Evan DeSherry for this one because he's making me use a product I fucking hate for video recording. And I'm going to do that because I'm the one who talks on the show. Now, if you talk to Evan, he would tell you that this happened because I use a shitty PC to record these shows and my Wi-Fi signal isn't strong enough, but he's a dirty liar. Anyways, we have some of that promised zaniness for you right about now. Since my video for this particular episode was pretty much totally unusable except for this segment of it, please suspend your disbelief as I am now transformed into a talking chihuahua through the magic of artificial intelligence. I told my kids I was basically going to be the Taco Bell dog, and they had no idea what I was talking about, proving once again that I'm old as balls. Now, we've resolved the video issue, but we've got 2 more episodes upcoming in which I will be converted by AI into an entirely separate being. You'll just have to wait to see which ones. Enjoy. Yo quiero Taco Bell. That's what 2 years of high school Spanish will get you. Hello, everybody. We've got a show that promises to be mildly interesting for your listening and watching enjoyment. First, I talk with Giselle Rodriguez, an attorney, about her side hustle as an extra in the movies. Then, I interviewed Giselle and her boyfriend Tristian about how they developed a unique marketing program for her law firm. Last but not least, we have a new recurring segment. It's a spinning wheel game, and it's pretty fucked up. We've got some visual elements, so be sure to check those out on our YouTube channel. Autobots, roll out. Legal Late Night is on. In a departure from my usual stylings, and so as not to be totally overwhelmed given our new weekly release schedule, I'm going to conduct an interview in this space instead of authoring my usual drivel as a monologue. You know why that is, though? It's because we have, I don't want to alarm anyone, but we have a bona fide movie star on the show today. That's right. It's Giselle Rodriguez, who also happens to be an immigration attorney. More on that part later. Giselle, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I don't know about the movie star, but I appreciate it.
I don't feel like I'm overselling this, but you can tell me if you think I'm wrong. So, like, you do acting. Tell me how you got into that, why you wanted to do it, and what you do, like how it goes.
Well, I first started acting back in 2012. Before that, I was living during that time period, I was living in Puerto Rico, and I remember it was the summertime, and I saw a casting notice for the film with Justin Timberlake, Runner, Runner. And so I think that was my very first casting, and I went. They called me. I ended up being a waitress for a scene, and that was like the start of everything. And then after that, I moved to Boston for college and eventually law school, and I've done a lot of other background scenes here with different movies. But it all started with modeling, actually, in Puerto Rico. But I wasn't a huge fan of modeling, and I kind of pivoted to acting.
Okay. Now, was that the first time you tried out for a role and you got it?
Yes.
That's wild.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe I did oversell it slightly before.
I guess you did.
You're so basically, like, you're an extra in movies, which is probably all the time you have to do this because you've got this thriving law firm, which we'll talk more about. So what does that entail? Like, do you just show up for the day? Do you have lines in some cases? Like, what does that process look like? Because I feel like a lot of people have like looked at casting calls, but they've never actually done anything to move that forward.
Got it. So so I'm part of the Screen Actors Guild, the union, and it took me about 9 years to finally become part of that union.
Really?
Yes. And so how it works is with different movies, you get what is called a SAG voucher if you get a little more exposure, or sometimes they just have more availability for those vouchers. So if you have 3, you're eligible to apply for the union. or to become a part of the union. So my
Okay.
most recent film was actually with Liam Neeson. It's called Absolution. And that was one of the ones where I got the most screen time. But that wasn't really the exciting part. The exciting part was actually meeting Liam Neeson. And he actually, in one of the scenes, he directed his words directly to me in the scene.
Really?
That's pretty fun.
Wow.
His voice is literally the same as you would hear it.
Did you get a chance to respond?
No, he was just talking at me. Yeah.
Huh.
He didn't say
All right,
anything.
I won't ask. I won't ask you what he said. I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, you should watch it.
How many movies have you been in at this point?
I would say probably 12 to 15. I am not trying to pursue this field seriously. It's just for me.
No, but it's a cool hobby, which is why I wanted to talk to you about it.
It's a really nice hobby. The food is amazing every time we go on set.
So the next frontier for you is voice acting at some point. Getting the role with some lines.
Yes, that would be really nice. You get your own trailer.
Really?
Yes. Which that's not the reason why. But in terms of exposure, obviously, it's a lot better.
All right, I got one more question for you, and then we're going to do like our standard interview. Who's the most famous person you think you've met on a movie site? Is it Liam or is it somebody else? Liam, like we're boys.
Yes, definitely Liam Neeson, but also Amy Adams, who actually spoke directly to me, because generally you're not allowed to speak to them unless they speak to you first.
What?
Yes.
It's fucking nuts.
I know. Bradley Cooper was also on set, but I didn't talk to him. But Amy Adams complimented my high-waisted purple pants. That was on the set of the set of American Hustle. This was probably like 8 or 9 years ago.
Oh, I know American Hustle. Yeah.
That was fun.
So if somebody wanted to take a look at your roles, do you have an IMDb page? Do you have anything up on your website? Hint about this stuff or no?
Yeah. I mean, I have an IMDb. I don't keep up with it though.
Okay.
But,
do you have a page anywhere where people can be like, hey, I want to see, Giselle dancing at the discotheque or sitting on a commuter rail train, etc.?
I mean, my Instagram, I have a scene actually dancing next to Mark Cuban.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that made the credits. That didn't make the actual movie, but it made the final credits.
That still counts. What's your Instagram?
Attorney.Rodriguez.
Okay, everybody.
No.
Check it out. Yeah, everybody, check it out. Check out Giselle's Instagram.
Again,
find out more about her.
I'm not trying to become a celebrity or anything. It's really just a hobby.
But if you did, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. All right, should we bring on Tristian? We don't have to. It's up to you. Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay. All right. Next up, Giselle will be back along with her boyfriend, Tristian Shannon, who is a lawyer who works with her in her law practice. Then it's the Wheel of Misfortune. Well, I've effectively run out of things to say, which is awkward because this is a podcast. But don't worry, I've taken up miming, so I'm going to mime for you a little bit right now. No, I'm just fucking with you. That sounds awful and not at all suited for a podcast. So let's just interview our guests instead. Big news, we got 2 guests today. You've already heard from Giselle Rodriguez, who is the principal of law offices of Giselle M. Rodriguez, PLLC. And her boyfriend is now coming in, Tristian Shannon, also a lawyer who also works at the firm as its chief marketing officer. Let's start with your law practice because we haven't talked about that yet. You started your firm right out of law school and you got into immigration practice. So I would ask you, why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it was really an uphill battle at first. As you know, you don't know where your next client is coming from. But I also saw there was a need for, I think, more honesty and transparency, at least within the immigration field. So I saw that and I knew that I could do that through social media. And that's been a game changer ever since. Clients, every time I have a consultation with clients, they either say they found me on Instagram or TikTok. And it's all a recurring topic of seeming less less intimidating, which we're used to
Yeah,
intimidating.
you're more approachable
So it was
as an
like, yeah,
attorney.
I guess. So it's a breath of fresh air for a lot of people.
Okay, so that was your intention coming out, that you wanted to build out this attorney reputation that was different from the way most people are playing it.
And also, of course, the passion, behind the passion I have for immigration based on
Yeah,
my
so talk to me about that. Like, why did you
yeah.
decide to do immigration law from that perspective?
Yeah, so it was something that I always envisioned because of my upbringing with my parents. They were both very involved in politics, and my dad, he fled Cuba at a very young age, 9 days in the ocean. Eventually, he came
Oh,
here.
wow.
The American dream, which is something very real. And so just seeing that growing up was really an influence for me.
That's cool.
These people are very in vulnerable positions. And so tying it back to the reason why I opened my law practice, I saw firsthand that a lot of notary publics would take advantage of clients and even
Mhm.
fellow, attorneys. And so I wanted to kind
Yeah.
of bridge that gap.
So never a moment's hesitation to like wait a few years and go work with somebody else for a while. You were straight up ready to roll as soon as you graduated from law school.
Yes. I mean, I interned in during college, I interned in so many different places. Senate President's office, Mass State Police, campaigning for different people. I immediately knew politics was not my thing. So I explored other things just to make sure with myself that law was really where I was heading. But it was the third year of law school I was actually my second year or first year I was in AmeriCorps at an immigration nonprofit. That really solidified my decision. And also at Harvard Law School, in that internship I explored more the asylum aspect. And so I think those two experiences did it for me.
Tristian, let's pull you in here. I'm not trying to hold you back, but after your modeling career stopped, you went and you started working with Giselle. So you two were in a relationship, obviously. And if my wife was here right now, she would be like, I will never work with you ever, which fair. So how did you get involved with the firm?
How did I get involved with the firm? Well, Giselle's, I guess we should start off with this. Giselle transferred to Mass School of Law, and she somehow still graduated before me, even though I had a year ahead of her. So she
Not enough of a head start, man.
she came in and immediately just was like handling business, doing whatever she needed to do to graduate while I'm just struggling to figure out what's going on in classes. But so she graduated before me, but it was literally like right in the middle of the pandemic. And
Yeah.
she was the first one to take, you're the first one to take the bar exam online, right?
Yes.
So it got
wow.
pushed back like 2 or 3 times, and it got to a point where like she was like, what am I going to do? I want to open up a firm, but what am I going to do? And I felt like with those types of things I could help her with because, obviously I had a real estate background, I had a real estate team, I was high up in the company. I'm like, oh, let's just do what I wanted to do for my firm, but we'll just do it for you. So we just started off with, just I knew really nothing about immigration. I was kind of like naive to it. I wanted to go into build a real estate firm, but when Giselle was, started to talk about why she wanted to go into it, tell me her father's story, and I started to see, it in the news, and I was like, okay, well, this is like a need for this. You know what I'm saying? Nobody needs to buy and sell houses; they just want to. So with her, I'm like, okay.
So were you like working full time in real estate, and then you're like you just quit too?
I was, but I had to close out my.
Damn, you guys are fucking hardcore. You're just like, let's do it. Risk be damned.
I had to close it out. I had to slow down part time because it was really hard for me to juggle law school and being on the road showing houses.
Oh, yeah.
So I decided to, okay, let me drop down part time. Let me close these deals, and then maybe I'll jump back in it. But when I was speaking with Giselle, I told her, I think we can do well. The biggest things is let's try to find a mentor, someone that knows how to run a law firm, because obviously you need to have that
Garrett.
experience.
Wait,
Yeah.
what? Oh, go ahead.
That's how it was. So, and I said,
We found Jared.
I said we need an SEO person,
one.
right? And so she went online and she
Yeah.
says, I found this guy, Red Cave Legal. What do you think? And I'm like, oh, we don't know unless we book an intel. So that's how she found you. And then we ended up finding Phil. So I think once
Yeah, Phil is
Yes,
what is the name
local
of his company
SEO.
again?
Bill Rozek.
Phil Rozek. All right. Just want to give everybody their flowers here. Go ahead,
it.
Tristian.
So I told her, I'm like, if we can cover those two things, I can cover the marketing for you, and we can gain momentum. That'll be probably our advantage.
Great. Okay, perfect. Let's segue to that. You were sort of like, I knew Giselle first. I didn't know you. You're sort of like Wizard of Oz, behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Like you're running all this marketing shit that maybe nobody knows about. So what was so a lot of the marketing stuff is like you had this strategy of a focus on publishing videos, including short form content like TikTok. How did you, now was that stuff you were doing in real estate that you're like, hey, I can port it over to legal? Was that something that you built up on your own? How'd you come to use that as your defining marketing strategy?
I mean, that's what I used in real estate, right? Because when I was first in real estate, they sell you on outdated tactics. They tell you about farming and, finding an area or just door knocking on random doors. And, this is how we do it, sending out flyers. And I tried this.
It's how we did it in 1974.
Yeah, and I
right.
tried that a little bit until I got like attacked by a dog one time going into I'm just trying to see, the houses on the market. And
man.
a lot of people, I started, it started with Snapchat and Facebook is where it started, where I just started talking about, the real estate market, rentals, properties in my area that I'm selling. And slowly but surely, I started getting, people reaching out to me. Hey, me and my boyfriend are looking to buy a house. Hey, we went to college together. We're looking to do this. So, my parents want to move to Florida. They live over here. So I realized quickly, instead of me doing what everyone else is telling me to do, I should just do where my clientele is going to be, which was first time buyers, which is the people in my age bracket. So I leaned more into social media. And from that, I realized that a lot of people look down on it. And being in law school, talking to certain people that also look down on it, I told Giselle, if we can lean into social media and it works, we're going to be ahead of people, because a lot of people, especially attorneys, they don't think that's professional, or they think the word's cringe is what they told us. This is just a leg up on us because this is what we grew up with.
It's crazy. Like there's so many lawyers that act against their interests because they don't think it's lawyerly enough to market in a certain way. You have stuff to say about that, right? Do you want to comment on that before we move on?
Here's the problem with it. It always comes from like older seasoned attorneys. They just don't know what the fuck they're talking about, right? And the bottom line is, with me and Giselle, nobody's going to help you, especially when you're competition, right? Everybody says they're willing to help you. Like when we first opened the firm, we reached out to alumni from our law school. We reached out to people in our industry looking for some type of mentorship or guidance. And the second they see that me and Giselle have the worth ethic and we'll put the work forward, all of a sudden they don't want to help you because you're competition, right? So it's like, I'm not going to sit here and do things that what you're telling me to do that's traditional. That's not what's going to work. And the second, you got to remember, her second video on TikTok got over 250,000 views, and she got like 4 leads out of it.
Yeah, which is a lot for those of you scoring.
Yeah, so I mean, I think what it is just understanding that nobody likes when young, competitive risk takers come into their field. So they're going to tell you things to do that benefits them more and tries to limit what it is that you actually want to do.
Giselle, did you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, I meet with different students and people interested in internships, and I tell them all the time. And this is a quote that really stuck with me from a CRISP conference that we attended last year.
Oh, Crisp.
The best
Yes,
cases.
Mike Mogul.
Yeah.
Former guest of my old show.
Oh, nice. And it is the best cases go to the best marketers. And I tell people all the time, don't feel intimidated. If you're thinking about opening up your practice, don't feel intimidated by others who have more experience than you. You know, use to your advantage what's trending in your generation.
Look at you, so uplifting. That's why Amy Adams was like, I need to talk to her. So you guys relied heavily on the video marketing stuff, and now the firm has gained a significant amount of traction. So Tristian, let's go back to you for a second. I'm going to go back to Giselle, which is now that you've kind of solidified that marketing strategy, are you now expanding the stuff you're doing and looking at other marketing plays? Like, what are you up to now? Now, you don't have to give away your secrets, but just I'm interested to know how is this expanding for you.
I mean, it's better than what you can imagine, right? Like, it's first I was just doing it to help Giselle because that was just something I've always been passionate about, the marketing side of it, things. But then other opportunities come that you don't think about it. Like, you know, she's grown extremely fast in 4 years that we're looking to open up another office. And then it's like,
Yeah.
we got affiliate partners from other firms that don't want to touch immigration matters that send us business now because they saw our videos. You get other people, other law firms who call our office trying to get a hold of the person doing the marketing, which is me, because because they want someone to help them with their firm. So a lot of those things, that wasn't what I initially planned on. I was in the mindset, we have to figure out how we're going to get revenue. We have to figure out how the clients are going to find us. Let's do what we can control. We can market directly to the clients. But it brought in business to business marketing. It brought in other law firms that want my help and services. It brings speaking engagements, and it just, I wasn't planning on that, and we weren't planning on that. And now it's the point where Giselle's now adding personal injury soon, to the point where she's just going to start marketing personal injury to grow her firm. So it really opened up, and it grew a lot bigger and different than what we initially planned.
So you did a great job in brand building, and now you got all these other opportunities. No, seriously, you did. And you're just taking them as they come, basically, is the way you're approaching this right now. Giselle, coming back to you for a second. You're the face on a lot of these videos. You're the one who's actually appearing in front of the camera. So how do you prepare yourself to do that, and what does that process look like? Because I think people see a TikTok video, for example, and they're like, 90 seconds, whatever. But you're nailing a block of those for like a couple hours at a time. Like, that's not easy to do. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. I think there's a lot that goes into it. And at least for me, it's all about being organized. I think about, obviously, the news articles that are trending during the week, but I also write the scripts. And also, obviously, I don't read from the scripts, but at least I have something there to refer back to.
Yeah, it's like a guidepost.
I wouldn't want to miss. Yeah, and even, the intro line, I mean, there's a science to this. And I think, I can't remember the name of the system that T uses to figure out how the intro line will be, but there is a science behind it, just to catch people's attention. And also, with my current interns, I mean, we get a lot of hate on social media. People saying, oh, you should get deported along with these illegal aliens, and, comments like that. But we use that to our advantage.
Yeah.
And of course, we don't respond with hate. We don't meet hate with hate. We meet hate with education. So we have this misinformed comment of the day campaign that the interns love to do. Actually, pretty popular.
I love that. That's amazing.
They respond to the very educational, fully established response to these people. And we call them out, even though I don't like to tag them. We don't tag them, but of course, people can see who commented. So it's pretty fun.
I would classify that under fuck around and find out.
Listen,
yeah.
Giselle doesn't tag them. I do.
He goes all out responding to people. I stay away from that. It's not worth it for me.
The president's an asshole, so every asshole now thinks they can say whatever they want
Yeah.
to say. It's
That's how it-
bullshit. So I think it's great that you're doing that. So can we talk about the interns for a second?
Mhm.
You guys have like 57,000 interns. It's like the cast of the 10 Commandments. God, I'm really old. I think that movie came out in the 50s. So, how do you manage all that? And why did you decide to go so hard on the intern stuff? Because not everybody does that.
I think for me, during college and even high school, law school, I did a lot of internships that I didn't enjoy. So I always told myself if and when I opened my practice, I wasn't going to have interns do what I did before. I mean, there was an internship where all I did was shred paper. So I told myself I would give them value, meeting with clients, having them sit in consultations, of course, with the consent of the client, drafting spousal statements, quality work. And I think that was my mindset and having all these interns. And of course, I keep track of everything they do because eventually if they need a letter of rec, I know where to refer to draft, a detailed letter. So I think, again, it all goes back to being organized.
So the interns help you, but you also want to kind of give back a little bit, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
Tristian, let's move back to you for a second. So Giselle mentioned that there is kind of a science to putting these video campaigns together. And I'm still shocked by I don't want you to give away the farm. Let me be clear. Like I don't want you to relay free strategy, but
I just people are not going to go to the extent that I go to because it takes a lot.
Right. So can we talk about that for a second? And then if you want to get deeper, just contact Tristian. He's an open book. I am always shocked that lawyers and business owners are out there being like, hey, let's just fuck around and post some videos and see what happens. And they never get to the point where they're like, oh, there's an algorithm behind this. And maybe I should post this at a certain time, or maybe I should use certain keywords. Why do you think that is? And then how did you get into that part of the process? Did you just have a natural affinity for this, or is it something you had to teach yourself over the course of time?
I mean, it was a little I think the biggest thing to help is I made a lot of mistakes back in my real estate career when I was posting videos, right? It was more, I had the mindset of, let me just post up content and see what happens. But what happened was with Giselle, when I started, creating videos, they started getting views quickly. And then I started understanding, okay, well, why is it getting views, right? And one of the examples is that I would always post at a particular time on Thursday. This was not planned or anything. It was just how it fit my schedule. And that Thursday video would always do well. And so, one day we had a crazy day and I wasn't really thinking, and I just threw up the video on Thursday at this specific time, and it didn't really do that well. So I was kind of bothered by it. Why didn't it do well this week? Why did it do on all the other weeks? And I came to realize that I had messed up, and unintentionally, I was posting unintentionally.
Uh-oh, we lost Tristian. No, he's back. This is why I like doing a video podcast. Everybody's got their lights on timers. So go ahead.
Unintentionally, I was posting Spanish videos on Thursday at a particular time, and they will go viral every time. The one day that I wasn't really focused, I posted an English video, which was telling me, oh, okay, what is this trying to tell me? And that's when I started digging in deeper, where the time of day you post matters versus an English video versus a Spanish video versus if it's a long weekend, depending on what it is, you might see more views, you might not see a lot of views. And then that's when I started talking to Phil, who's our SEO guy, and he started saying, hey, so this video gained a lot of traction. And I'm like, wait a minute, why did that video gain a lot of traction? On social media, it didn't. But for whatever reason on her YouTube and her website, it did. And then that's when I started to figure it out. Keywords and search terms matter. And when I started combining those with a strong hook, what's a keyword and search term that people are looking for or maybe not talking enough about? and I started mixing and matching. And that's when I started seeing like, oh, there is a method to the madness. Are you just willing to put in the work and dig deep to figure out what's working versus what's not working and why?
Trial and error, basically. Intellectual curiosity.
Like
it
you
sounds
take immigration. Everyone wants to talk about deportation, tourist visas, marriage visas. Nobody really wants to talk about the difference between an N600 and an N600K. That's not an appealing video. That's not going to get you views. But that's a common question that people come to immigration attorneys about. So I didn't see any other law firm, any other attorney have that on their website, talk about that on YouTube. So I told Giselle, hey, I wrote a script. Let's just check it out and see what goes on. We wrote the script. It's been 3 years since we wrote that YouTube video. We have barely 100 views, but it's probably made the firm close to 6-figure, that one video, because we were the only ones to take a complex
such a niche
question
topic.
and simplify it so that way people could find her. And that's when I started getting obsessed with what are things that we can talk about to simplify that other attorneys and law firms are not doing. Not because they're lazy. I think all of them are lazy, but because they just don't have the time. You know?
All right, one more question for each. Give me like 10 seconds of advice, each of you. Giselle, I'll start with you. You both started businesses from scratch. What would you say to somebody who's thinking about doing the same thing but is afraid to pull the trigger?
I would say you do not know it all. Look for people to help you. I think in our field, we think that we know it all or that we can do it all, and that's just false. So be humble and just seek for help.
Look for the helpers, as Fred Rogers once said.
Yes.
Tristian, you get the last word on the interview segment. What would you tell people who were reluctant to launch a business for the first time?
I would just say take the risk. You know, it's not going to be perfect. You're going to make a lot of mistakes, but don't not take the risk because you care about what other people think or you lack the belief. We made a lot of mistakes growing the firm, but the amount of ground that we covered through that and the experience, you're just not going to find that anywhere else unless you take the risk.
Excellent. We have one last segment coming up. Do you want to stick around? I made pigs in a blanket for everybody.
Absolutely.
I'll stick around for it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be back in a second, everybody. Welcome to the Counter Program. We're back. It's a podcast within a podcast. This is a conversational space where we can address usually unrelated topics that I want to explore at greater depth with my guests. Expect no rhyme and very little reason. Today, we're debuting an entirely new segment that's going to become a regular segment. I can just feel it. I'm going to call it the Wheel of Justice. Now, frankly, it doesn't have anything to do with justice at all. But it is a wheel, and this is a legal podcast after all, so that's the best I could come up with. So before we get rolling, I want to tell you about what we're going to do and where this segment derives from. So I could do a whole episode on my favorite dive bars in Boston. And if the people demand it, I will do it. But there is one particular watering hole in Boston called Bukowski Tavern. It's this thin, long building, and it's located at a Prudential Center. It's actually built above an overpass on the Mass Pike. Very Massachusetts. If you take a look at some of the Google reviews, people are complaining about the dark and decaying atmosphere, a lack of air conditioning, and one person even compared the mashed potatoes to animal semen. Not entirely sure how someone has that experience, but I'll leave that aside for now. To me, those are all pluses for a dive bar. Now, what Bukowski does have is the wheel. So behind the bar, there's this huge wheel with all sorts of different drinks on it. You spin the wheel and you buy the drink that comes up, no matter what it is. It's this fantastic conceit that we're going to borrow for this section. So I once took legal late night producer Evan DeSherry to Bukowski, and he spun twice. And both times he got Buckler, a non-alcoholic beer. I guess the wheel giveth and the wheel taketh away, friends. So Tristian, Giselle, this is easy. When we spin the wheel, you answer the question. Our categories today are as follows. Well, that's annoying. At the movies. Guilty pleasure. Name that tune. Meet cute. Grin and bear it. Kidding around. The Gong Show. Tech time. And 3 in a row. So we've got 10 categories. We're not going to get to them all. Completely unscripted. We'll see where this goes. I literally have no idea. Evan, shall we give the wheel a spin? At the movies. At the movies is question 1. Not bad. Okay, so Tristian, I'm going to start with you. What's the worst movie Giselle's been in?
I don't want to do this, but that one with Stephen King, that recent one, that was terrible, man. I can't even believe he gets the car. What's the name of it? The Sandbox Lot?
Salem's Lot.
That was,
Not a fan. Not a fan.
The cut there. No, I was a
that
nurse.
was trash.
I get lots of these nurse.
I had to sit through that too. I can I liked it. That was trash. Sorry.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna look it up on streaming, and I'm gonna give it a watch though, just to confirm, and
I don't think
I want to support.
You know how T is.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's a harsh critic. All right, Giselle, coming over to you. What's the best movie you've been in? Because you've been in some good ones, other than Salem's Lot, but I digress.
I know. I must say either Good Burger 2 with Mark Cuban or Spirited with Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
were really
okay.
fun to do. Yeah.
Cool. Good Burger 2.
Yes.
I was unaware of a Good Burger 1, but I do know the sketch on Nickelodeon.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've never even seen the sketch?
No.
I have, but
right.
she hasn't. She's
Okay.
young.
All right, Tristian, what were you going to say?
Our first date was at the movies.
Really? Which movie?
It was Jumanji with Kevin Hart and The Rock.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
He brought me there, and I was so fascinated because it was the first movie theater I'd been to where they serve you steak tips. I'm like, what?
And the fancy
Yeah.
theater.
Oh, yeah.
I never knew that. I'm from the projects. We ain't got that.
You're like, wait, they have food here?
Oh, God.
Oh, that's really funny.
making
My wife and
much
I,
good.
our first date was when we went to go see It's a Wonderful Life in theaters in 1941. Anyway, Evan, let's spin the wheel. Give it another spin. And now my wife is going to be pissed. She's not old. I'm so much older. Okay. 3 in a row. Next category. 3 in a row. Okay. Tristian, which seat do you prefer on an airplane?
Window seat.
Any reason behind that?
I want to be able to control if I can open and close the window.
To be able to see outside. Gotcha. Okay. That didn't work out too well for William Shatner on The Twilight Zone. But Giselle, same question for you. Which airplane seat is your favorite?
Growing up, definitely the window, but now the aisle.
You put the childish things away. You don't want to look out the window, but
I
you do
look
want to be
out.
able
I
to get up
can
to go to
look
the
out.
bathroom whenever you'd like.
I just, I get very anxious now in planes. So knowing that I'm in the aisle, I feel more in control.
Okay.
I always sometimes count the seats to know how far it is from the exit in case I think about the worst all the time. So I think that's why
you are a lawyer. That's your job description.
Well, what are you gonna do?
Well, the good news is no fights on the planes because you each get the seat you want.
I don't know.
I guess. Yeah. But yeah, the aisle seat, definitely.
Evan, spin that wheel. Boy, this is fun. I like this.
It is fun.
I could get used to this. All right, what do we got next? Well, that's annoying. Oh, this is a great one. Now I feel like an asshole. Okay. Giselle, what's the most annoying thing that Tristian does?
I'm here.
Don't hold back. He can
I'll try
take
to
it.
answer this very politically.
I knew you would.
He's actually a sweetheart, believe it or not.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
But what's the most annoying?
Nothing annoys you about him. How could it?
Oh, I'm not holding back, so you better say it. I'm not holding back.
He's very protective. And me growing up as an only child, am not used to that. I've always been protective of myself.
Yeah.
So it can seem annoying at times, but I know that he means no harm.
I like how you did that. You did the old job interview thing where you're like, let me talk about a good quality of this person and try to spin it. Tristian, I think I can count on you to not hold back.
So you better be careful how you answer that.
Yeah, just be careful because this is going to be recorded for posterity.
I think for me, it's when you go to buy something and they say, for $100 more, you can have full coverage and insurance for a year. Or would you like to make a donation at this charity? Every fucking time. Yeah, I'll do it. Like, for what? I don't even understand it. I get so annoyed with that.
Well, the insurance, me thinks about the worst.
I could see that. That tracks. All right, that wasn't too bad, actually. Evan, maybe one or two more. What do you think? I'm just having too much fun to stop. All right, here we go. Kidding around. Kidding around is the next category. This is a good one. It's not going to be controversial, but Tristian, when you were 12 years old, what was your most prized possession?
You really want to know?
Yeah. If it's
Allen
like
Iverson jersey.
Really? Nice. Signed?
Yeah, it was signed. Now that I think about it, it was probably a fake signature, but I have no way to prove it now.
Yeah, that's all right. It doesn't diminish the magic at all. You still have it?
No, I don't. I'll tell you, my mom's ex-boyfriend, who was running away from the FBI for murder, stole it.
Excuse me? What? Your mom's ex-boyfriend, O.J. Simpson?
Yeah, pretty much.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sad you lost the Allen Iverson jersey.
It was sick.
Christmas is coming. Giselle, same question for you. When you were 12, what was your most prized possession in the world?
I think my grandfather, I still have those somewhere. He would give me like the $2 bills and different coins.
Oh, yeah.
The antique. I think I still have those somewhere. But also, I used to collect, those dolls, the Polly Pocket dolls. They're actually really expensive. Mm-hmm. And I had like 10 or 12.
Did you keep those? Do you still have them, or?
I don't think so, no. But I think
this is tragic. Like,
I know it is. They're probably in Puerto Rico still, in a box. Somewhere.
Man, we can't end on a downer. Let's do one more question. Evan, hit it.
I'm hoping the guilty pleasure one.
Yes. Oh no, the Gong Show. The Gong Show. Okay. Let's start with Giselle this time. You told us about practicing law. You told us about acting. But what's your secret talent that no one knows about? Other than buying more insurance than might be necessary. Go ahead.
I like to think I know how to sing, but I don't know. I'm very shy. I don't know if that's true or not.
You want to give us a little bit?
No, nope.
I didn't think so.
I don't know.
Singing's a good one.
I like writing. I used to write when I was in middle school, like poems, and I think I got that from my grandpa for sure, the writing part. So yeah, maybe poetry.
Maybe once you get tired of the acting stuff, one of these days you're just going to be writing songs.
Exactly. That'd be nice.
Tristian, the last word is yours. You've had some time to think about it. What is a special talent that you have that no one knows about? Well, no one knew about, I should say, because now they will.
I body people in Call of Duty. Like, I can't,
It does. It really does.
yeah. Like, I can't even, like, I body people, and like anyone can get it. I don't care if you're 12, if you're grown man. Like, I'm constantly, that's like my stress reliever. The long day at work, just to go on Xbox and start running my mouth and killing people.
Should people know your username so they can avoid you? Is it for public consumption?
I'm not going to say that because I always get chat banned for what I say. So I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I got chat banned again. So I got to go in a special chat to communicate with my team. But yeah.
Just never know. You're in Call of Duty with Tristian. The next thing you know, headshot. Thank you both for doing this. That was actually really fun. First time we ever did it. I appreciate it. Thanks to our guests, Tristian, Shannon, and Giselle Rodriguez of the law offices of Giselle M. Rodriguez, PLLC. To learn more about the law offices of Giselle M. Rodriguez, PLLC, visit gmrodriguezlaw.com. That's gmrodriguezlaw.com. Now, because I'll always be a 90s kid with a blossom tattoo on my right inner thigh, don't tell anyone, whose true passion was burning CDs for anyone who would listen, I'm now just doing the modern version of that, which is to create Spotify playlists for every podcast episode that I record, where the songs are tangentially related to an episode topic, tangentially being the keyword there. This week's playlist is all of the music I love that I'm really embarrassed to listen to, like hair metal, bubblegum pop, kids songs, and more. It's all sponsored by 20 Mule Team Borax, the one ingredient I always forget when my daughter wants to make slime. I'm just kidding, by the way. Borax hasn't sponsored shit, but I wish they would. Hit me up. Join us next time when I clip my toenails for the full 45-minute episode. They're really long.